We are going to be looking at combining like terms, but let's start with the warm-up. You know how much I love to do those. We're going to read it from left to right. That is the opposite of 5 squared plus 8 times negative 2 minus negative 6 squared. I don't have any parentheses. They are just there to say multiplication or to capture the negative. So I'm going to move right on to exponents. Remember at the beginning here, I said the opposite of 5 squared. So I am not squaring a negative 5. I am just squaring 5, and that is 25. And then down here, I said negative 6. So I am squaring a negative 6. So negative 6 times negative 6, that is positive 36. And then I'm just going to bring everything else down. Here comes this subtraction, 2, negative 8, and plus. So now I'm going to go through and do the multiplication because all my exponents are gone. So I have a positive 8 times a negative 2. That's a negative 16. And then I'm going to bring everything else down. Now I'm just moving on the number line. I'm at positive 25. And I move to the left 16 spots. So 25 minus 16, that's going to be a 9, minus 36. So I'm at positive 9. I subtract 36. I should be at negative 27. So let's get on to combining like terms. Combining like terms is an addition or subtraction problem, so it has to be done after you've done the distributive property. But let's look at what a term means. So a term in algebra just means its place in line. And these terms are not exactly alike, so I can't combine them. But we're going to look at 5x squared as the first term because it's sitting in this first spot. Negative 6x is the second term because it's sitting in the second spot. And positive 3 is the third term because it's sitting in the third spot. So when I look at combining them, they have to look exactly alike. Like up here, nothing looked alike. This x had an exponent of 2, this x had an exponent of 1, and the 3 doesn't even have an x on it. So they are not like terms, so they cannot be put together. Like terms is basically counting how many of each thing you have. So the first term here is a 6x. The second term is a positive 5x. The third term is a 3, and the fourth term is a 7. Well, you can see the first and second term both have an x, and they have the same exponent, which happens to be a 1. And then 3 plus 7 are just what we call constants. So that's just a number with no variable attached to it. So I can put some things together. So the distributive property and combining like terms are tools in your algebra toolbox to help you make your expressions easier to solve. So this top one up here is kind of messy looking, and I'm not sure I really like it all that much. So I'm going to use combining like terms to just put things together. If I have 6 x's and somebody gives me 5 more x's, I now have 11 x's. Notice when I put the box around the number, I took the sign in front of it. Remember, the sign of a number is always in front of it. And then I just have a positive 3 plus 7. So 3 plus 7, that's 10. So 11x plus 10 is the same thing as this. So if I told you that x was worth 8 points, or worth 8, wouldn't you rather put it here 1 time than up here 2 times? So you're just sort of simplifying it down so it's more manageable to work with. So let's just take a look at some of these. I have 5x plus 7 plus 3x. Well, I do have 2 x's here. I have a 5x, and that has just an exponent of 1, and I have a 3x that has an exponent of 1. So if I have 5 x's, and somebody gives me 3 more x's, I actually have 8 x's. And then I just have plus 7 because there's nothing else to combine it with. So down here I have negative 6 plus 8v minus 5v minus 10. So I have positive 8v's, and somebody takes away 5 of them. Well, I'm only left with 3 v's. You can put the positive in front of it or not, that doesn't matter. I have a negative 6 minus 10. So I'm starting at negative 6 on the number line. I'm moving to the left 10 spots. So I'm going to end up at negative 16. So 3v minus 16. Here I have 3f minus 7f plus 12. So I have 3 f's, and somebody takes away 7 of them. So I have negative 4 f's, and then I'm just going to put plus 12. Down here, I only have this 8b, negative 8b, so it's the only b I have, so I'm just going to list it over here. But I have 9, and I'm going to add 12, so I have plus 21. So all of these things are the same. So 8x plus 7 is the same as the original. It's just a lot easier to look at and work with. It's smaller, it's more compact. So that's what combining like terms does for you. And remember, combining like terms, and a lot of times I will abbreviate it. So combining like terms, I think I spelled that right, is an addition problem. So it's add and subtract. So you are moving on the number line when you do that. Whereas the distributive property is a multiplication problem.